During the last 500 years, contact between white civilization and remote tribes has followed two routes, both with disastrous consequences for indigenous peoples. Today, when most tribes are reluctant about contact with outsiders, explorer Sebastian Tirtirau travels around the world, asking them what kind of future they want to build. Sebastian and his team meet in Lima Airport, Peru, for their coming expedition in the Amazon, looking for the remote Kandoshi tribe. They come from 3 different parts of the globe. Larissa travels from Eastern Europe, Vali comes from Southern Africa, while Sebastian flies from North America. Peru is the 3rd largest country in South America after Brazil and Argentina. Its capital is Lima, a huge metropolis of more than 8 million people. Founded in 1535 by the conquistador Francesco Pizarro, Lima is among the oldest cities in the Americas. Today, it is an endless conglomerate of blocks and neighborhoods, a good illustration of capitalism's power to divide people into 2 large groups, the very rich and the very poor. Just a few blocks away from these ghettos is the central square, which is steeped in a strong Spanish atmosphere, although Peru gained its independence nearly 200 years ago. We don't know too much about the Peruvian Amazon. We barely know where we want to end up. Our target is San Sebastian, a remote Kandoshi tribe village, 1,000 miles from Lima. In order to get there, we need to travel north to the city of Chiclayo, over the Andes, through Tarapoto, and then to Yurimaguas. It's an exhausting 35-hour bus drive. There, we reach the Amazon River, take a boat, and travel to San Lorenzo. In San Lorenzo, we change for a smaller boat and aim for San Sebastian, where we hope to be welcomed by the Kandoshi. 2 years ago, Sebastian sent Vali on a reconnaissance expedition up the Peruvian Amazon. He found out that due to the atrocities that happened in the past, many of the Amazonian tribes don't welcome white people.
First, I want to know who those people are. They live on a small branch of the Amazon, on a small stream up from the Amazon north in the jungle, where only 2 villages are, San Sebastian and Paraíso. North of Paraíso, there is absolutely nothing. I think the secret lies into the preparation of your trip, way ahead of time, especially when you want to reach a very remote, isolated part of the world. Usually before I go on a new trip, for example, we are now in the Amazon, we're trying to reach a new culture, a new tribe. It takes something between 2 and 2.5 years before you come to research about the culture, about the people around, about the mentalities. How do they look at the white man? Like, what do they believe? What do they eat? What do they try and understand of the surrounding world and so forth? So research is vital.
In the bus, we pay for the best seats, upper deck, front row, hoping that our journey will be a little more comfortable.
Jerky.
This is the only functioning road that large buses may travel on, and it's constantly being repaired. Heavy rainfall causes landslides which destroy the road. If we get caught in something like that, we could wait for days until the road is open again. Crossing the Andes by bus means 17 hours of endless twists and turns. After a night, a whole day, and another night of travel, we end up in Tarapoto.
Awful. The worst.
We take a few local taxis and end up in a one-star hotel. Although it only has around 65,000 inhabitants, Tarapoto is the region's largest city, and it's the link to the upper Amazon.
So once you do research, you have to understand that there is no way you can prepare 100% for the unknown. Your physical shape matters tremendously. You have to be in shape. Your immune system, especially for jungles and deserts, your immune system has to be in top shape because there's diseases there that your body is not used to. A lot of people and a lot of doctors, a lot of nurses recommend a lot of vaccinations for these areas. My suggestion is every situation is unique. Every person is unique, which means that not everybody can take 15 vaccines when they come to the Amazon. For example, somebody like me takes only yellow fever, and that's it. I don't even take malaria pills. But I don't do it not because I'm some kind of strong person or something. It's because I have 15 years of working in these areas, and my immune system has built up. My antibodies are well prepared for something like this, and that's why I decided not to do it.
We're now officially in the Amazonas region, which covers almost 60% of the country's surface. It's the rainy season, and we can see landslides everywhere. We hope we'll be able to get safely down to the river, but our hopes are dashed just a few miles down the road. Since there aren't many cars ahead of us, these rocks could have fallen just minutes ago. Luckily, no one was passing when it happened. Everyone has a good attitude about the situation and tries to find alternative solutions. Some of the merchants call friends from the next village and carry the goods by foot to the other side of the blockage. Street vendors appear out of nowhere, confirming that this isn't a rare event around here. A group of men try to do something to clear the road. The biggest problem is the lack of communication. Many people speak, and no one listens. If nothing changes, we could stay here for days, waiting for the authorities to clear the place. In just a few hours, road workers come. There's no way the rocks can be cleared in less than 2 days, so the best strategy is to create an alternative route to unblock the traffic. However, the road won't be able to handle all the traffic, and endless queues are already forming in both directions. We're lucky enough to be among the first to pass, and continue on our quest to find the remote Kandoshi tribe. Yurimaguas is the last urban center in the Amazonian Loreto to be connected by highway with the rest of Peru. Although it's inhabited by merely 75,000 people, it's an important harbor city and is affectionately known by the locals as the Pearl of the Huallaga. We're not quite sure where the name comes from. Instead, we prepare for the next part of our trip, which is by boat up to San Lorenzo.
The vital thing after your arrival in the country you want to reach, or in the place you want to reach, is to contact and talk to local people, local fishermen. They tell you if there's anything wrong with the river, if there's flooding, if there is an outbreak of a disease some other place. Then you talk to local people about their tribes. Are they violent? Because they are tribes. Even now when we're going up there in the Amazon jungle, we don't know if they're going to refuse us or not. We are trying to find from the local people their mentality. There's a lot of misconception about white people as well, by the tribes. In some tribes, the white man is the devil, is the black, is the guy that comes at night to scare the kids. So there's a lot of stuff that you have to find out, but only local people will be able to tell you.
No one in Yurimaguas knows how to get to San Sebastian, so we must change boats in San Lorenzo. We have two options: a big, slow public transportation boat that will take us 2 days to San Lorenzo, or a 9-hour trip in a fast private boat. Considering the bus experience we've had, we choose to hire the private boat for the next day, although it costs 5 times more. In Yurimaguas, everyone is selling something. Some of the locals catch wild animals and sell them for food. Buying an animal means postponing the moment when it becomes a meal.
What kind of food you're going to eat? A lot of local food can kill you. Not because it's not good, not because something wrong with it, but because your immune system can take it, your digestive system can take it. They eat fish straight out of the river, they dry it in the sun, and then they eat it. Your body may not be able to take that.
We decide not to eat anything off the street. It's important to avoid any health problems during the trip. We postponed buying gifts for the tribesmen in order to keep our luggage as light as possible, but this is the last place where we can buy them. Offering these gifts will increase our chances of being accepted by the tribe.
It's 6 o'clock. We're ready to go towards San Lorenzo and then San Sebastian. We're already here with all the bags, and the boat is getting filled up. So, hasta la vista.
After 6 years working exclusively with the San people, Sebastian decided to diversify and look for other tribes. He went to Brazil and Guyana in 2002 and Venezuela in 2004.
So I can see, yeah, it's recording. Hello. In my experience in Guyana, in Brazil, in Venezuela, now in Peru, with my research, there is a common understanding that the white man is trying in different forms to take over from the Amerindian, their land and their resources. And this is true not only that it's a fact of recent activity of the white man inside the jungle, but I think it started with the conquistadores, the first colonists that came to South America. We come now to the Amazon, to Peru, and we're facing this mentality.
We arrive in San Lorenzo, a small harbor city located on the Amazon River. The city is placed on a high riverbank that the Amazon carves out day by day. In just a few weeks, this row of houses will fall into the water. It's just a matter of months, or a few years at most, until the next row meets the same fate. Lately, many tribal people left the remote forest villages and moved to San Lorenzo for a better life. For many of them, this so-called civilization is just a hoax, as San Lorenzo is more of a dirty ghetto than a city, a place where they usually end up trapped in a spiral of addiction. On a smaller boat, we continue our trip to San Sebastian. Fortunately, we have Pisango as our boatman, who happens to be the son of the Kandoshi village chief. Having him as our guide means our chances of being accepted by the tribe will significantly increase.
I've had experiences in my life in which tribes refused me and my appearance there. I can't say I judge them. First of all, they don't know who I am when I come to new tribes. They look at me and they react according to their mentality. In case they say no, we turn around, we go through another branch of the Amazon and we find another village, they will say yes. Most probably San Sebastian will say yes.
For a couple of hours we go back the way we came and then move north on the Ungomayo, a tributary of the Amazon. On our way we meet the village chief, and he might be able to accommodate us in the village for more than a week.
Putem sta o săptămână la el în sat. E queremos quedar una semana. Putem?
Sim, tá bem.
Ya
muy bien.
Bine, hablamos.
De combustible estoy bien.
Nu ai combustibil. Ne ajung cu ea 10.
Ăsta ne ajung 10 km, da?
Ya dus. Ya, muy bien.
Now the question is, why am I here? Why do I go there? Why don't we all just back off and just leave them alone and let them live their life? Well, from two reasons. One, not all white people are the same. As not all black people are the same, and not all Amerindians are the same, and so forth. Not all Amazonian tribes are violent. Not all Amazonian tribes will kill you, cut your throat when they see you. They're friendly people, they're very nice, they're very peaceful, most of them. The ones that still show aggression mainly do because of the fear that they have for the civilization. So I'm here because I want to show them that there are people in the world that are interested in their welfare. But I'm not coming here with my agenda or the white man's agenda, because I have so much experience with remote tribes. Since '95, I'm working with remote tribes all over the world, and I discovered very quickly that it doesn't pay at all to come with your own agenda and say, I think you need this in your tribe.
Finally, after 7 days of travel, we managed to reach our destination. It looks like a small collection of huts, home to no more than 30 people. Ramiro, Pisango's brother, welcomes us into the village and shows us the place we can pitch our tents. We've been told that this squirrel monkey we bought will become domesticated in just a few days and won't try to run off into the wild. Based on his 16 years' experience, Sebastian knows that gifts are much appreciated and will increase our chances of starting a good relationship with the tribe.
A lot of people have talked to me and said, we see you interfere with their culture. When you bring machetes and mosquito nets and all that. It's expected by the villagers that when somebody comes to them to visit, to bring some gifts. Even if their local people come from another village, they still bring some gifts. They bring bananas or they bring something. Especially when a white man comes to visit. It's generally understood that white man has everything. There's no way he cannot bring something as a gift. I bring him tools that are necessary and increase their survival chances. axes and machetes and knives and pots and pans and mosquito nets. They save their children's life from malaria. So if that's something to be frowned upon, I would have a problem. But I think it's something that gives them this respect of life. That somebody comes to visit me, I keep him for a week or 2 weeks in my place. He gives me some gifts. I think it's just normal politeness to do this.
Shortly, the chief arrives in the village, and Sebastian wants to have a meeting to explain the purpose of our visit.
Quiere dar gracias a usted porque me has recibido otra vez aquí.
Ya está bien, hermano.
We do this visiting of villages all over the world. In Africa, in Asia, everywhere. For the past 15 years, we've been helping people like this, and we're trying to see how we can help them.
De que nosotros estamos viviendo aquí 12 años.
12
acá.
años.
Pero no tenemos ni qué clase de ayuda de parte de nuestro alcalde, del gobierno central, nada, ¿no? Del gobierno regional, nada, absolutamente nada tenemos. Y en buena obra ustedes han venido, pues bienvenidos. O sea, yo les agradezco mucho, en primer lugar a usted, hermano, acá también.
I need him to understand that we didn't come with any big plan to change anything here. We just wanted to come to visit, to become friends and see what they would want us to help them. We are not government. We are not business companies that want to come and take everything from them. I want to come and see how I can help them and then go home and organize the help and come back again.
Ayudar este pueblo.
Está bien.
Okay?
Yeah.
So we brought them some gifts.
Pero también hemos traído unos regalos para usted.
The chief is happy to accommodate us in his home, but in this tribe, he needs the approval of the council, which will take place the following day. We're surprised to see they have a football pitch in their village. We were planning for an easy victory, but we clearly underestimated their skills.
No te encordas. Ten un poquito más luz. Solamente cuando te ves.
In this culture, like in any other, time spent having fun together is the best catalyst for relationships. Today was a good start, but even so, the council may ask us to leave tomorrow. Today, the village council is gathering, and the main subject is whether to allow our stay in the village. Vali seems worried. He's been in this area before, and he knows that many villages don't accept visitors.
Overall, of all the tribes in South America I encountered, I found one common line that defines them all: their fear and terror of white men.
Pero el propósito de estos hermanos es de apoyar a esta comunidad. Entonces, estos hermanos que vienen de otros países, vamos a decir, lo que ellos van a llevar es las cosas que ellos están mirando acá. Por eso ellos vinieron a vivir durante 8 días, van a estar aquí ellos, mirando cómo es el pueblo, cómo son las costumbres de los pueblos, ¿no? Entonces, eso es el propósito de estos hermanos que viven. A ver.
Suddenly, something we were afraid of happens.
En eso que tú estás hablando, yo creo que tú solo nomás eres la autoridad aquí en esta comunidad.
Yo estoy desempeñando mi cargo.
Mira, señor. Sí. Claro, porque el señor Apo nomás todito el tiempo ha hecho lo que ha querido. Aquí.
Fortunately for us, it's just an internal dispute for power, which won't affect our stay here. Currently in the Amazon basin, around 1 million natives live deep in the jungle, divided into 400 different tribes. Many of them are still frightened and have very limited contact with the outside world. San Sebastian is a settlement of around 30 people, most of whom are related to Urayas, the village chief. They're members of the Kandoshi tribe, which is part of the larger group of Amerindian natives. They moved here from a neighboring branch of the Amazon more than 10 years ago in an attempt to achieve an easier and safer life. They searched for a non-inhabited area of jungle that would accommodate them and ended settling down on this land.
Por ahí donde he vivido yo, por allá, por el Nucuray, ahí se mataban, cada minga se mataban. Era como una zona roja por ahí. Una tomadera ya era muerte. De esa manera yo he salido también de ahí. Ya no me ha gustado, no. Ya he dicho mejor no. De repente a mis hijos o a mí me pueden matar y mejor he salido de ahí. Y ahora vivo acá, hemos formado con mis hijos, mayormente hemos hecho este pueblito con él. Yo soy el fundador de acá de San Sebastián. El 2000 se ha creado San Sebastián. De mis hijos son 7 nomás hijos tengo. 4 varones y 3 mujeres. Nada más son 7 son mis hijos, 7. Uno está viviendo en Jaén, en la ciudad de Jaén. La otra que aquí que está mi Elvia vive en San Lorenzo, pues, en Datén del Marañón. Y los demás están aquí conmigo.
Bueno, acá me gusta vivir porque mis viejos me han traído por acá, por este lugar. Más que todo, acá en la chacra no nos falta nada. Y como no somos pobres, pues aquí se vive de lo mejor. Y cuando en la ciudad se puede vivir también cuando hay algo de recursos. Y como nosotros somos pobres, no tenemos nada, aquí estamos viviendo de lo mejor.
Their life revolves around the river. This is their source of drinking water, sanitation, and food. They hunt when they need to, but fish is the main source of food. In this season, it rains several times a day, which raises the water level and makes fishing a tough job. In the dry season, this is an easy method of fishing, but now there's no way to catch anything, even with good fresh meat as bait. Ramiro is looking for waka tree leaves to make traditional bait. He mashes the leaves and mixes them with boiled yucca root, some coal and bananas. The result is a hallucinogenic paste that stuns the fish, making them float for a short while. It doesn't work, which means that the fish have left the riverbed to find easy food in the flooded forest. There's only one way to catch them: by following them. Early in the morning, Urayas paddles his canoe into the forest. During the night, Venancio has placed his fishing nets deep in the bush, but the catch is still very poor. A few small fish won't feed a village. He's the oldest man in San Sebastian, and he's not related to Urayas. However, he found San Sebastian a peaceful place and asked for permission to move in.
Después ya crecí, ya vio, ya venir de acá. Después ya una mujer se reunió de venir por acá ya. Eso mujer a mí me dejado, aquí era soltería. Él también es otro marido. Ya. Aquí otra mujer se ha agarrado, con esa bebida acá. Con esa bebida, 11 años vivida ahí. Ajá.
Cooking the fish using a traditional method needs some palm heart, and Urias goes into the garden to get it. They call it the chakra, and it consists of a small deforested area in which they plant different types of vegetables. After cutting down the tree, he takes just the top part where the palm heart is found. It seems like a waste, but this thinning actually helps the rainforest. The palm heart is torn into small pieces and placed with the fish in the palm leaves. When it comes to getting things done, there's an extraordinary workflow among the tribe members. They'd hand tasks over to each other in different phases of completion without any noticeable communication. When someone gets bored or tired, they just stand up and leave. Someone else comes along to finish the task. In a few days, the water level rose by nearly 2 meters, luring the fish deeper into the forest. There's no point in trying to fish anymore. Miguel is a skilled hunter and has 2 very good helpers.
Bueno, y en el día me voy, igual como puede ser unos 5 horas, me voy cazo los ajinos, otros animales malos, monitos.
¿Es usted?
Bueno, me voy en canoa, enjocando, me voy. Hay brillas, el animal viene al canto a tomar su agua y ahí se le mata. Bueno, su lección es ir callado por la trocha, así en silencio, que no haga bulla a nadie por tu tras. Tú te vas solito, te vas por la trocha, por el camino, te vas enjocando, o en el día igual, porque si haces bulla el animal se va, pues, claro.
Paying attention to tracks is the key to success. By reading them, Miguel can tell the type of animal, its weight, the approximate time that it went by, and sometimes even its gender. Of course, hunting has become easier since guns reached these remote people. However, in these dense jungles, visibility is no more than 30 meters, which makes hunting quite a challenge. He's spotted something, a Kwati mother and its cubs. This animal isn't worth an expensive bullet. A simpler method will be used to catch the cubs. In the meantime, the dogs chase and kill the escaping female Kwati. In this tribe, the men's job is to build houses and hunt, while the women take care of the children and cook. In a place where people have to constantly search for food, there are few indulgences to be had. Yucca is an important potato-like root, used both for food and for a traditional alcoholic drink called masato. The yucca is being peeled and boiled until soft. The boiled root is then mashed, and an open-air fermentation process takes place. The fermentation traditionally begins with women chewing mouthfuls of mashed yucca and spitting it back into the vat. Thanks to their saliva and the equatorial climate, in just a few days it matures into a sour fermented drink. In the morning, the men gather to clear the football pitch. Football is one of the few fun activities in this remote place, especially when they've been challenged by a group of gringos like us.
Pero ya no están como antes, pues. Antes todo era muerte. ¿Qué les vamos a dejar entrar así como antes diciendo? A ustedes estamos bien muerte, ¿no? Así era antes. ¿Quién no querían que llegue? Nadie, gente desconocida. Les mataban.
Later on, the friendly match begins once more. Of course, the home team wins again. In the meantime, Larissa secretly prepares an improvised cake for Sebastian. Today, he turns 41, and she wants to surprise him.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Freddy.
Mas com cake, meu padre. Já, com platita. Dale.
This is the way he's celebrated many of his birthdays in the past 16 years, in some remote place far from his family. For him, these are merely small sacrifices in the pursuit of his larger vision. His main concern is the people that he's passionate about.
So you see that there is a possibility of actually keeping them happy by the development we bring in, not what we want to bring in, but what they ask us to bring in. And also to find a balance of living off the land and also enjoying being part of a country, of a government, and also of development.
So far, outsiders have taken a very different approach. Urias takes us to the place where they've been drilling for oil. The company is long gone now, and this pipe is the only thing left from the plant, but we can still see the oil spills on the water. The Amazon basin stretches across 9 countries in South America. The forest region is rich in coal, iron ore, nickel, gold, silver, platinum, and emeralds, but the major stakes are oil and farming. Brazil is the world's largest producer of sugarcane, coffee, tropical fruits, and has the world's largest commercial cattle herd at 170 million head. Clearing for cattle pasture is the largest driver of deforestation in the Amazon, accounting for more than 2/3 of annual forest clearing in recent years. What's more, the involvement of petrochemical companies in the Amazon basin led to exploitation activities within the jungle, damaging both the rainforest and the indigenous people. Since 2003, 72% of the Peruvian Amazon has been leased to the highest bidder in the international oil industry, harming local indigenous communities and threatening wildlife. Few animals are left here now since the oil company started extraction work in the area. Urias is lucky today and has spotted prey that will feed his whole family for a few months. It's a tapir that weighs around 400 pounds. In order to get it to the village, they'll have to cut it into pieces.
Lo está llevando bastante carga, toma foto. Cargadito. Compita? Vamos. Ajá.
Meat goes rotten quickly in these warm, humid conditions. Conserving it for later use is a priority. The animal is sliced into smaller pieces that are well salted and transported down the river to a place where it will be smoked. This way, the meat will be edible for a few months.
I can notice right here in these very few small villages around that there is a knowledge of the country they live in, of the government they're under, and they very consciously taking part in that, and they want to be part of that and be recognized as that. The chief wants to go to the municipality in San Lorenzo to apply for papers for this land. This was never done before.
Sí, ha venido Agricultura, el Ministerio, el ingeniero de Agricultura ha venido, pero no nos ha dado, no nos ha podido dar el título porque nos dijo que el título cuesta. Nosotros queremos ser propietarios de esta tierra para cuidar nuestros bosques, nuestros lagos. Entonces, para que la gente ya no lo invade, porque ahí vienen de otros lugares, vienen de fuera, de San Lorenzo, de Yurimagos, de Iquitos, de otros lugares vienen a invadir, llevan maderas, llevan peces, llevan muchas cosas, ¿no? Entonces, nosotros no le podemos decir nada porque no tenemos documentos o no tenemos título para poder nosotros afrontar eso, ¿no?
When you think about it, 80% of these countries in the Amazon forest is covered by jungle, full of richness and resources. And comparatively, you put this humongous, huge territory of jungle, and you have a population of a few thousands of tribesmen. So if you're logical about it, you will not be able to say that you can give the jungle back to the natives and leave it as it is, because it's just too much richness.
Cuidaríamos nosotros, porque los bosques son lo importante, ¿no? No se debe destruir. Nosotros no queremos destruir, nosotros queremos cuidar nuestros bosques, ¿no?
So far, it's either the government that gets the money and the tribesmen get nothing and they get killed in the jungle, or the jungle tribes start wars and fight the prospectors, kill some of the white men, then the government comes with the police and the army and kills them and so forth. So there's never a really good way. If there was a balance between the resources and the benefit of both the government and the local people, I think that would be ideal. When that would be, I'm speaking utopically, but I'm hoping that it might be soon.
Quisiera comunicarme, hermano. Claro, quisiera comunicarme. Claro, con la... Porque así se haya más se haya más amistad, pues. Se haya más influencia con la gente de fuera, ¿no?
Está allá.
Porque son hombres que ellos conocen más que uno. Nos pueden enseñar, direccionar cómo se va a vivir, cómo se puede trabajar, ¿no?
Se lo tesca la tierra.
La tierra, ¿no?
Sí, sí, así es. Este es el cielo que veremos nosotros.
De acá.
El tiempo de noche, sí.
Hacer educarle algún día para que ella también nos, de repente, no sea como nosotros, de que ella sepa más que lo que nuestros padres nos han dado, siquiera un poco de educación, pero nosotros debemos de darle más a ellos más adelante para que sean pues más educados que nosotros, que nos enseñen ya pues un poquito más. Sí, hermano.
Sebastian gathers the family together. He wants to know what they want for the future, for the village.
What would they like to have in the village?
¿En qué podemos ayudar a este pueblo y a ustedes?
Así como yo siempre les he hablado de educación, lo primero, la educación, una escuela, que hermano. El segundo, nuestra radio de comunicaciones para comunicarse aquí, porque hay momentos que pasan accidentes, no tenemos con quién comunicarnos. Necesitamos también las medicinas, hermano, las medicinas. No hay medicina con qué curarse, hermano.
After much rain, there's a chance that the river is blocked by fallen trees, stopping us from leaving. Our boat should have arrived 2 days ago. The only option we have is to wait. There's no other way to leave this place. The rain stops and our boatman finally arrives. It's time to go. The whole team is packing up and ready to move out. The monkey is the only one left behind and we hope it'll be safe with Arias, at least until next time.
So first we will announce Gerson about him with Lima, and then the next that we said we're going to start step by step after that.
Primera vez que hacemos la primera cosa es vamos a anunciar Gerson para su vista. ¿Cómo hacemos con su vista? Y después de vamos a ver cuando venga.
Hermano, muy bien.
And tell them next time we promise we're going to beat them in soccer.
Y cuando venimos otra vez, vamos a darles 5-0.
Okay, gracias, muy gracias, muy gracias.
Sebastian now has a clear list of their needs, and he'll try to find solutions in time for his next visit. In the next episode, Sebastian travels to the Kalahari desert to find his first love, the San tribes.